Fashion Dolls. Happy March. Happy Women's History Month. It is Motivation Monday, March 3rd. And welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. I think this will make interview 755, 756 total, besides my interview with Sandy. And we're going to get into that at 4 p.m. So make sure you guys tune in for that. But you guys are getting two shows today on Monday. And the first one, our very special guest, is an award winning African American actor. And he started his entertainment career as a pro wrestler for the WCW and the WWE, or World Wrestling Federation. And I'm super excited to have him here in the dollhouse with me. So, if we could, Fashion Dolls, please let's give a warm welcome to Bishop Ali Stevens. And I'm going to send him this live so that we can get right into this interview. I'm super excited. And yesterday was the Oscars. And of course, I got the cue. The cue for the Oscars was sparkle. So as you can see, today's dress is definitely doing that. This is today's look, y'all. This is from Inspired by the Oscars. Inspired by the Oscars. I seen Holly Berry and Yvonne Orji, and I understood the assignment. So I wanted to do something as an ode to the fashion for the Oscars yesterday. So without further ado, Fashion Dolls, let's welcome my very special guest, Bishop Ali Stevens. And hi, Mick. Shout outs to my boss lady, Original Magazine UK. And so make sure you guys please go and check that out as well.
Doing this right, because I'm crooked.
Hello. Turn it upright. Turn it upright.
Oh, upright. Do you guys do them upright? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Everybody else says lay it on the side. There we go. There we go. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It is such a pleasure to have you here. Happy Monday.
The honor is mine. Happy Monday to you too. So let me not look like such a nerd here. Look at you with your sparkles going. Go ahead, girl. I see you. I see you.
I had to, as an ode to the Oscars. I seen Holly Berry wear something on the red carpet to the effect that was very beautiful, very reflective. And then Yvonne Orji, so I had to for today. And plus, we're now in spring fashion season, so I think it was very appropriate.
Well, you go ahead with your bad self. I'm scared of you. I'm scared. Let me touch you. Let me touch you. See if I burn. Let me see. Oh shit! There we go. There we go.
So, before we kick off this interview, how has 2025 been for you so far?
Honestly, surprisingly, 2025 has been crazily. I've been crazily blessed for 2025. I just found out I got like 3 or 4 movies being released this year. We have. I just finished putting my whole team together. So I got my manager, my talent agent, my PR manager now. I mean, I literally can, well, you know, when people say, talk to my people, I can really say, talk to my people. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so I can really say 2025 has been really good for me. A lot of blessings have been coming in. So I couldn't be happier.
Yes, 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 yes. And one of those people we actually know, and she is
Yes.
here. So a very special shout outs to Mickey Solar, who is, and I call her boss lady. She's dear to my heart. She's the owner of Original Magazine UK, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the writers for, and I write for the
Cool.
fashion portion of the magazine. So
Okay.
there's a lot of people that have been added to the group, but it is such a pleasure to meet you and such an honor to have you here.
Well, like I said, the pleasure is absolutely mine. And I look forward to doing stuff with you in the future. I understand there may be some stuff in the future for us.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Next week we have Martin Nusa coming on the show, and you're working in Intimibras, Journeys 2, which we'll be talking
Right,
about.
right.
We have so many things that are coming out, but I like to start with my guests from the beginning. Now, you started off your career as a pro wrestler for
Correct.
the WCW and the World Wrestling
Right,
Federation
right,
and
right.
WWE. So my goodness, you trained with 8-time world championship Harley Race.
He was like a
So tell
father
us what was
to us.
like, and when did you get your start in the World Wrestling Federation? At what age?
Ooh, we don't talk age, girl. Now we don't do. But I will. But I will say. I was in the wrestling business for about 10 years before I got hurt, and then when I got hurt, I stepped out, and I spent 2 years after that. I actually owned a series of fitness centers. I had like three of them. I took my knowledge from wrestling and I opened these fitness centers, and they were doing very, very well. But then I got the acting bug strictly by accident, so it was totally an accident. And ever since then, that's what I've been doing. But then I guess if you really break it down, wrestling is acting anyway. So I've been acting for I'm gonna say about 20 years now, altogether. But then I've been movie and television acting for 8 years.
And you're a vet in the business. You've been in the game for a long time, and I've seen some of your highlights, your
Thank
clips.
you.
So to
Thank
be
you.
able to be trained by Harley
Yeah.
Race is just awesome. He is one of the greats in the business.
Well, I
Now you,
actually Harley picked me up. This is a funny story. I was with Sylvester Ritter, the Junkyard Dog.
yeah,
I was hanging out with we were at a family function, and every year when Sylvester would come, the kids would jump on him. We would just pile up on him. This is the Junkyard Dog. We're piling up on him, having a good time. Um, so one year I'd been hitting the gym really hard, and when all the kids started piling up on him, I just started grabbing people off, just And he got up and he said, "Nephew, I got something for you." 2 days later, I got a call from Harley Race. And Harley was like, hey, well, I'm here in Missouri. I'm up in, so, Harley had that voice. And something about when Harley told you to do something, you just did it. So it's like, okay, so I was Harley's first WLW heavyweight champion. And now his son, Leland, runs the company. But I was Harley's first champion. And then from there, I got sent down to Memphis and for Power Pro Wrestling and Jerry Lawler's Memphis Championship Wrestling. And then from there, I got picked up by WC. There was a slip. There was a mess up in my paperwork. There was some type of mess up in my paperwork, and WCW jumped in and grabbed me before the WWF could. But yet I was in Memphis with the WWF training center. So I was training at the WWF training center, but I got grabbed by WCW first.
and this
So
was way before you started getting signed with them. Now you had
yeah,
your stage name was the Atomic Dog. Tell us how
right.
that came to
So the
be.
Junkyard Dog and the Atomic Dog. So we were supposed to start tagging together. We were actually supposed to start tagging together before he had his car accident. So Harley had set it up that he was going to come in and he was going to save my butt one day, and we had this whole thing all written up and everything. One of my biggest feuds ended up with Greg the Hammer Valentine. So legendary Greg the Hammer Valentine. So that was
Mm,
like a really big feud that I was having. And so Greg and I think it was going to be the One Man Gang or somebody like that was going to be jumping and beating the crap out of me. And then JYD was going to come in and make the save. And then we were going to start tagging. But that same month was when he had his car accident and passed away. So yeah, so after that, they scrapped the whole deal, and they moved me to and WWF. I got hooked up with Power Pro Wrestling, and they were like, we're just gonna scrap the whole dog thing, and that's when I became Ali Stevens.
and
So
here
it's
we
pretty
are.
cool. It was pretty, stories are stories, you know. So that's about it. I'm a little upset with the, just so everybody knows, I'm a little upset with the WWE or WWF now, because when Sylvester passed away, well, most of you follow wrestling, but most of you know that when a lot of the legends in WWF and WWE, when they had substance problems, the WWE or WWF picked up, got them in treatment centers. They took care of them. When Sylvester passed away, it was just a bunch of flowers. So that was kind of hurtful in my mind. In my mind, in my mind. So that was it.
Right.
So, yeah.
And my thing is this: give people their flowers while they're here, currently, right now, because you never know. And over the weekend, in case you guys missed it, we lost soul music icon Angie Stone, and I was supposed to be interviewing her back in 2021. So it's so crazy to me when I seen the news. And I
Mhm.
found out from one of my good colleagues and amazing friend, Behati Beauty, was the first to post
Yeah.
about it. And I said, no, wait, let me go check. And then the story just spread like wildfire.
You
Angie
know,
Stone in a car
we're yeah,
accident.
Angie Stone. We lost Roberta Flack. I mean, we're losing people. Just left and right. It seems like. You know, what I mean, just it's crazy.
I'm still kind of shooken up and just taken about it because it was just like just back in 2021 or 2022, I spoke with her publicist.
Hmm.
Shout outs to Deborah Champagne, good friend of mine. Me and her publicist became good friends, and her publicist actually came on the show, and we did
Okay.
a girl part together. It was me, and shout outs to my girl Tamala, three times the T. It was all three of us, three women, and we were just talking on issues that affect us, racism, all of these things. But Deborah set up that interview with Angie, and something came about. So the interview
Oh,
never came to be, but Deborah set it up, and it would have been a pleasure to speak with her.
oh
Just
yeah.
her energy, like she was so sweet, and she was awesome to work with. And I got to work with her through her publicist, Deborah Champagne, who set up the interview, but the interview never came to fruition. But yeah,
So I'm so sorry to hear that. I am sorry to hear that. But yeah, but yeah, it's crazy the way things are going now. It seems like everybody's just dropping off left and right, and you know, for one reason or another. So these days you are. So when you say how 2025 is starting out, hey, I'm still alive, so I'm blessed.
yes.
I'm here. I'm blessed. I look at it that way. You
And that's
know.
the best feeling, to be here, to be alive.
Yep.
Absolutely. So
Yep.
as
Yep.
we go through your journey, we're going to pivot here for a bit. You landed roles on Fox and on one
Yep.
of my favorite shows, Empire.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got Terrence Howard, you've got Taraji P. Henson, and the show taped in Chicago for those of you who don't
Yep.
know. And then you've also landed on, I mean, so many shows you've done in your career, but Empire is the one that stands out to me. You've done Chicago PD. Both shows have taped in Chicago. You've
Yep.
done Chicago PD and Empire. What was it like getting the call back as a guest on this show?
Well, Empire was interesting. that was like that was one of those things you wake up and you go, really? Am I really here? Because it was when they first started. It was when the show first started, and a lot of people were really critical of the idea of a music show, of that type of show. They were very critical of it. I hadn't even heard about it. They had shot the pilot, and they had shot the pilots. They got it and everything started, and I get a phone call, and they were like, "Hey, man, uh, they need a guy who looks." I guess the guys who they had who were security didn't look the part. They did not look the part. So they asked me to come to Chicago, and they said, "Okay, we're making head of security." And like I said, from day one that I was on the show, I was right there at the elevator. I was Taraji's bodyguard. I was Terrence's bodyguard when um, 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 uh, I mean, when Malcolm came on, I was Malcolm's number two guy. I mean, everything just kind of went off. But the way it happened was they had some guys doing security, and I got there, and they had told me how to, dress like you're a bouncer or, at a fancy place. And I was like, okay. So I put on a black suit, a black tie, white shirt, and a black tie. So I was going all out for the bad guy look. I was going for that bad guy look, and so Lee Daniels comes and he walks everybody. So everybody's standing in line. We're all just stood there, every row you had, and he would go, and he would, yes, no, yes, no, what the hell, yes, no, what? He got to me and he went, about fucking time, and everybody just fell out. So he was going down the line, blah. He got to me, he's like, about fucking time, and after that they just kept me up front with everybody, and I got my first speaking lines on that show with Taraji. My first speaking lines with Taraji. And it was, yes, ma'am, no problem. right away. It was simple little stuff, but I still got my SAG card from it. I still got my SAG card from it. And yeah, whenever they actually needed somebody to say something or do something, it was me or one other guy, a guy named Jerome, but it was one of us two. And yeah, from there, everything just, like you said, it's all filmed in Chicago. So when Chicago PD needed a big, tough looking guy who everybody had a good rapport with, the assistant first ADs, people like that, they were like, hey, do you know Bishop? He's over on Empire. I get a call, hey, do you want to come on Chicago PD? Okay. You know, and next thing I knew, I got a call to go to Atlanta. You know, but when I got to Atlanta for The Walking Dead, it was a mix up because I was one of the governor's guys. And it was one of those things where they hadn't got to the point where people were eating well yet, and stuff like that. So when I got there, they was like, "You're a little too big," because at that time I was at my peak. I was still my wrestling peak. I was still like 280 solid pound, solid. So they were like, "Well, we'll do this with you instead," So yeah, but it was that whole journey with Crisis, the TV show Crisis, and I was on Scrubs. I was on a bunch of stuff that shoots. I must have done 9 shows in Chicago,
So what
9 TV shows.
my question for you is, how did you find that balance with doing all of those shows that tape in Chicago? So it's like difficult being in all of these different places unless the shows taped at different time. How did you find that balance between doing all of these shows?
Well, the first thing when I said my first lines on when I said my very first line on Empire, when I first said yes, ma'am, that's when Taraji they had Kim. What was it? Kim, the actress. She was on there and she was playing a baby mama drama, and I had to take her out to the car, out the building. And Taraji was like, I want you to take her safely, get her home, blah, blah. And I was like, yes, ma'am, no problem. That's all I said. Next thing I know, I got an agent calling me, So by the time I got my SAG card, I had an agent, my first agent in Chicago. And they kind of got everything worked through. They took care of all that.
And then something else happened. Another major blessing happened. You won for Best Actor in a Film, for Best Actor in a Feature Film. What
Well,
was it like getting called for this prestigious award?
well, that was interesting because I didn't even know I was up for it. I had no clue I was even up. I didn't know the when I do stuff, whenever I do, and I think people need to learn how to do this. You need to set goals. People don't do
Yes.
that. People do not understand setting real goals, but you need to set realistic goals. Like if you tell yourself you're going to lose weight, don't say I'm going to lose 100 pounds. Say I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to lose 5 pounds. Make it real as something you can do. So I have a tendency that I will set goals for myself. And Terrence Howard, we were going to lunch at Empire, and I had been on Chicago PD twice. I've been on Chicago PD a couple of times, and Terrence said, "Man, I just found out you used to be a wrestler." And you know how Terrence is. Terrence be Terrence be mind screwing people. This is stuff he say be. So Terrence was like, "Man, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something, son. The next time I see you, I want to see you standing across from me in a scene. This whole behind bodyguard stuff, it ain't for you. So you need to do something about that." What the fuck I'm supposed to do? What am I supposed to do about it? But my agent, I got hooked up with yeah, the horrific evil monsters, and it's kind of like a horror comedy type thing. And I played the lead role, and I did not know it was in the Chicago Film Festival. I didn't know that. And I get a call and it's like, "Man, you won." I'm like, "I won what?" They're like, "You won Best Actor." I was like, and find out the people I was against. I'm like, man, I don't know what kind of words I can say on your show, but I was stroking that day. I ain't gonna lie, I was stroking that day, boy. I was feeling myself. So I'm walking around, my chest all out, and I'm just, yeah, so, but yeah, and since then, I've won like director awards, filmmaker awards, things like that. So I'm still waiting for you to be wearing that dress for me one day, and be like, that's my boy up there. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that. So yeah, so it was cool. It was really cool to get that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you went on to do several films with Lionsgate, Lockdown, and another one which is Bloodthirst. So more and more and more is up from here. You were also on Netflix's Girl on the Third Floor. So what was
Yeah.
it like to get called on that show for that program?
Well, I think altogether, I think we sat down and we actually did a count. I've worked with probably 40 to 50 name actors since. I haven't got to work with Terrence again yet. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting to make that happen. But overall, I've worked with everybody from uh, Elliot Page when he was Ellen Page. I've worked all the way up to Malcolm McDowell and Gary Busey, and I mean I've worked with a lot of major players. I've been in a movie with Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair, things. But the cool thing about how things have happened for me is is now I don't really have to do a lot of auditioning. You know what I mean? It's like they say, do you know if you're looking for this look and this size and you're in Chicago, Kentucky,
Oh yeah.
Indiana, hey, do you know Bishop? Bishop's, even California. Um, so when those movies were in certain areas, uh, they just right away called me. It wasn't until I started really going out to LA that surprised me because I didn't know my name had gotten way out there. Like you said, Bloodthirst. We just had we're doing a series of movies called Brute, the Brute films. I, names the name out there. I get a phone call from them and they were like, hey, can you help us out? And I was like, what do you want me to do? Just come on, we'll fly you out to LA, do blah, 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 blah. And I was like, sure. I was like, sure, I'm on my, what time I gotta be there? What time the plane take off, baby? Shit like that. So, but that's the one that surprised me. But pretty much around here, if you're doing around here and you're looking for a 6'1", 6'2", black guy who's easy to work with, who knows what you're looking at. I mean, my reputation pretty much stands. You know, I do what I'm told. And I know my stuff. When we come to the UK, when we go to the UK to do in Tenebris, I think I pretty much
Yes.
already know I pretty much already know my lines. Matter of fact, right now I am working on the character development for that already. We're months out. So yeah, that's how I am. I'm kind of a perfectionist about stuff.
I'm the same way.
I
It has to be perfect.
Yep.
It has to be perfect. Every single shot, every single angle. And speaking of Intenebris, two timelines. Martin Newser will be joining me next week on the show Monday. So what was it like working with Martin? He's so amazing, and I've had him on the show in the past, but he's coming back again. He'll be back next week. So what was it like working with Martin on this project?
Well, we haven't worked together yet. The project doesn't film until May, but putting the character together, we're working with him about putting the character developments and stuff together. Um, it's actually pretty cool because I, I don't know. I don't know if it's my reputation. I don't know if it's because of what he's seen from me in the past. I don't know. But he was like, look, man, I wrote it, but I want you to make it yours. You shouldn't have told me that. I told me that. So it's like, when somebody gives me if you give me the opportunity to make the character mine,
Yes.
I mean, now I've had some directors. Okay, well, this is the way we want you to do it. This is it. This is what we want. You give them what they want. That's the difference where why pro wrestlers transfer to movies so easily is before you come through that curtain, they tell you what they want.
Oh
You
yeah.
don't go do what you want to do. They tell you what you. So I'm used to that. But when I would come through that curtain and they would say, Ali, or go do your thing. Oh, it was on because now I'm out there. Now I'm there. You know what I'm saying? So Martin was like, no, I want you to make the character your own. Hines is your character. You are Hines. We wrote him for you. You got the look or whatever else. And I'm like, okay. Okay. So, and we've gone over it several times. He likes everything that I'm doing. Um, the character is that we didn't want him to be the stereotypical big black military guy. We didn't want that because there's enough tough military people there. So basically, Hines is the guy you don't want to mess with, but yet, he's like, should we be doing this? We're messing with the time. We're doing this, we're doing that. He's concerned about what they're doing compared to the others are just, but I'm the guy that if you up on, I carry the big gun, so yeah, it's pretty cool. He loves his team, takes care of his people. You know what I'm saying? So, he's a tough guy, but again, you know, I'm not gonna toss you through a window unless you make me toss you through a window. I might try to talk you out. I might try to talk you out of it first. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I like what he let. So Martin really, yeah, he let me let loose, and I love that.
And what I love about Martin, and I said this last week to Ina Harrelson from our group as well too. I said Martin is such a like ourselves. He's a visualist. He's a consummate perfectionist. And
Right,
all of his film projects, he likes things to look crisp, clean, masterpiece. He is perfectionist. So if
right,
he tells you, okay, go ahead and you take this character and make it your own, whereas most productions, the producer will say, okay, you take this character and I want you to go ahead and you create the character in your likeness, in your image, but also take it and make it your own. That's a big
yeah,
deal. So shout outs to Martin for that. And for Antonibus 2, timelines, what can we expect from your character in this film? I know you can't give away a whole lot.
yeah. I can't give up, but I can tell. You know what? I can't. A lot of action. There's a lot of. This will now. I've done a lot of horror movies. I've done a lot, but I think this is probably going to be one of my most action. I think there's a lot there's more action in this for my character than I've ever done. So
Wow.
my so somebody asked me one time what my dream role is. Where do I want to be? Where do I want to get? Honest, believe it or not, I don't want to be Marvel or DC. I want to be a GI Joe. I grew up
Oh,
I grew up with GI Joe, so I want to be a GI Joe. And I think with what Martin is doing, this is giving me that opportunity. So you guys are going to see a tough, action-packed, you know, character who is, you know, living in the moment and trying to make things happen, but doing but trying to do things the right way. So and I think that Martin letting me be me is going to open that door. I think when Antivirus is done, because first of all, the first one is already out, so people are already
yes.
checked. So I think everybody right now is waiting to see what number two is going to be. You know, everybody's waiting to see what is number two going to be. And um, our girl Mickey, she is Mike. She is like really hooking me. I mean, I'm doing interviews and stuff left and right, so we're really getting a lot of pub from it. So much to the point that after this is done, she's taken over as my regular publicist. You know what I'm saying? She's going to be taking
Awesome.
over taking over that. So, like I said, my understanding is that we'll be doing a lot of stuff in the future. I'll be talking to you for a lot in the future. You can see my
Yeah.
pretty face.
And she's
Yeah.
she's gonna bring you back. She's gonna set it back
Yeah.
up because I'm definitely gonna bring you back. And I'm looking at the comments and you're getting so much love. Stacy Rudensky says, you are great at what you do, Bishop. Looking forward to
Thank
working
you.
with you guys again. Headshot
Thank you.
Dream, I see you. And Mick says, amazing interview. Thank you, boss lady.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for setting it up. That like it's come to fruition. And we have another person that is in the group that is also going to be on the show. So you guys are getting 2 interviews today.
Cool.
Joining me next, we have Sandy Alessi. She is a casting director. And
Yeah.
for any actors who want to know what does it take to get casted in a film, in a project, what do you need to do, what do you need to present and bring to the table to bring the character to life? She's going to be giving you tips on that in the next hour. That's 4 p.m. So you guys are getting 4 shows. And she's also 1/5 of the girl group, the Lake Sirens, who I've had the pleasure of interviewing last month
Okay.
on the show. So,
Okay.
yes, make
Cool.
sure you guys tune into that. And Lil Miss Picky says, excited to work with you.
We're gonna have a good time. We are definitely gonna have a good time. So Martin is going crazy over there now. He's getting
Oh,
all the locations and everything together. So yeah, it's gonna be. And I'm trying. I mean, because he kept telling me, you don't need to lose weight. You don't need to lose weight. But I'm trying. So my game plan before we. And then the only thing I'm concentrating on. I just finished the trailer for one film. We're wrapping up the Baton Rouge serial killer. Uh, we just did the trailer for Bound by Betrayal. So now I got nothing but time for the next couple of months, and I'm not doing anything other than concentrating on the gym. I actually want to go in to do Martin's film at a solid 250. That's what I want. I want to be a solid, 6'2", 250 pounds when I go in there. Now, so that's what I'm hoping to do. Now I'm like around 260, 262.
and it goes back to what you said in the beginning of our conversation, which is goals. You're setting yourself a goal. You have
Exactly.
at least 17 projects that will be dropping that you're working on that are
Yeah.
coming out. Some are in productions.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, with Antonibus working with Martin's coming on the show next week. Uh, what else can we expect from you? Or will it be more directing, more writing?
No, 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 no. Let me.
Why not?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. So the Baton Rouge serial killer. We did the Baton Rouge serial. It's the first ever
Okay.
African American serial killer
Yeah.
film. There's never. Now I know some people will say, "Well, what about Along Came a Spider?" Well, that was a fake character. That was a dreamed up character. Okay, the Baton Rouge serial killer is a real character. It's a real life. This was a black serial killer in Louisiana from 1993 to 2003.
Yeah.
All right, but trying to direct and act, I'm gonna tell y'all, I do not know how people do it because it drove me crazy. I mean, I couldn't sleep for days. I was having crazy dreams, and during set, I mean, we'll probably talk about this some other time, but while we were filming, I mean, there were several really crazy things that happened. I'm not superstitious or nothing, but it was some crazy stuff that happened. And then now we just did the trailer for Bound for Betrayal, and it's kind of a different type of movie. But again, it's a true story. It's a real, it's a true crime that really happened, um, based on a book. And we know the young lady who wrote the book. So the same thing happened. We're doing the trailer and everything, and I'm trying to direct and act, and you lose yourself because you want things to be right, but you can't see what you're doing. You can't see what you're doing. So you're trying to make everybody else be right when you can see, but then you can't see what you're. Imagine you're doing your show right now that you're doing, that we're doing together, but you can't see you can see how you look. You can't see your facial expression. You can't see nothing. It messes with you. So I've decided that after Bound for Betrayal is totally done, I will not direct anymore. I won't do that. I may help write stuff because somebody did come to me with another true story about sex trafficking. A young African American woman who was sex trafficked here in St.
Yes.
Louis, and somehow she ended up in Las Vegas. And she was telling me all the stuff about cigarette burns and broken ribs, and I mean all the stuff that some of these men would do to them. And literally a Las Vegas sting. a Las Vegas thing. They were getting ready to be shipped overseas, and they got caught. They got stopped by this law. A sting in Vegas saved this girl. She was 13 at the time. Now she's 26. Um, and we were, I've been talking to her about, like, I'll help write, but I damn sure won't direct. I can't do that anymore. It's just too much. It's just too freaking much. So, yeah, that way I feel like I'm not giving my all when I do
Gotcha.
both. I
And
feel,
it's, yeah, I was saying
you know,
it's definitely a balance. As Stacey just said in the comments, you said it's not an easy task, but you rocked it. And we have
thank
a
you.
question from Headshot. She wants to know, do you see yourself doing more movies based off of true stories?
Now, I put together a company called Risky Lens Films, and the reason why we came up with that name is because while we were filming the Baton Rouge serial killer, when I said crazy things, nobody would be standing next to the camera. We would be nowhere near it, and we were running 2 camera shots. The camera would just start tipping over. Just, it would never damage the camera, but the camera was, and you'd watch it in slow motion fall all the way to the ground, like somebody was laying it down. I know that sounds crazy, but so the thing about true crime and the thing about doing these type of films is you have to think so much. I know that sounds weird, but whether somebody is dead or alive, you have to think about how you are putting them out there. You got to think about that, how you are portraying that person. So can I say that I'm going to continue to do this type of stuff? I don't know, because it's so much like Martin's. It's so much easier to create my character
Yeah.
than to try to live somebody else's life. You know what I'm saying? It's so much easier than that. And a lot of people talk about what's his name? He played the Joker and went
Heath
kind of,
Ledger?
yeah, and but even though the Joker is not a real character, but so many people have played the Joker that he had to bring a different level. He had to. He had to bring it to he. I mean, they say he got so crazy he was sending his co-stars crazy shit in the mail. He was mailing them out crazy. He just getting in the character. So I got to be honest with y'all. I cannot say for sure. Do I see a long term advantage for me to continue to do real life films, true crime, after if and after we do the one about the young lady who was sex trafficked. I want to do that one because again, you see a lot of. I'm not trying to be, and this has nothing to do with racism. Don't put that on me. It ain't got nothing to do with racism. But on Lifetime, HBO, and all that, you see a lot of young white ladies that this happens to in these movies. But you don't see how it happens to black girls. Because the young lady who I'm talking about, she told me they had Mexican, well, Hispanic, and black girls. And they were beaten almost every day. If they told a trick, no, they got beat down. Like I said, broken ribs. And they had doctors who was there to make sure they were okay, so they, not that they were okay, but so they could work. Now, I've watched a lot of Lifetime shows about, what this happens to the little white girls and stuff like that. And I've never seen that.
It,
I've never seen a little white girl getting burned with cigarettes. All that the trick is one of those sadistic guys, and he's burning her with cigarettes. You know, urinating on them, all that crazy stuff, man. So, like I said, this is one of those stories that I kind of feel need to be told, but I don't think I'm gonna act in it. I don't think I'm gonna play one of the characters. I think I may just write and direct that one. But like I said, after that, that's it. So to answer your question, dear, probably not. After doing that film, I probably will not be doing another, because it's yeah yeah,
it's
trying to
heavy
bring that.
because
It's heavy.
when you're
It's
doing a true
heavy.
crime story or a biography about someone's life, you literally have have to put on that person's shoes and
Exactly.
walk into that experience. And it was an actor, I think it was Joaquin, I think his name was Joaquin Phoenix. He played
Yeah, yeah,
a famous
Phoenix.
singer,
Yeah,
and how he
Joaquin
really
Phoenix.
tapped into this character.
Hmm.
As we mentioned, Heath Ledger, they take the character and go all the way
You
in
gotta
with
go.
it. But it has to
You
be a
go all
time
the
where
way
you
in with
have
it.
to be
You
like,
know, you gotta go all
detox
the
it
way in
out
with
of
it.
your system after
Yeah.
doing the film and project has come together. So it's a
See
lot of healing.
that's
It's
why
too nice.
I was hoping with the one we're doing now, Bound by Betrayal. I never got to the young lady Atara. We never really got into the whole about the guy that I'm playing. I never met him. I don't know his real name. I know the incidents and what happened, but I don't have to be him. You know, I don't have to portray this person, even though I know he's still alive. I know he's here in St. Louis. I know blah 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 blah. But you know what? I don't have to feel pressure of playing this guy the way he is. I can make him still mine. But when you do a lot of this kind of stuff, and they have all the details. The details are what you got to worry about, and you know. So yeah, we that's why Bound for Betrayal we're doing a based on. We're not doing a true crime documentary type. This is just based on situations that happened in the book in the Damaged Goods book. So that's so we can do that. We can do it that way. But yeah, everything else, the other ones. So no, I probably won't. I probably will not. I like making up my characters and being me. I like that. So I dig that.
Whereas if you're doing and you're telling a true story, we're doing films where we've seen lots of films that say based on a true story,
Yeah,
like that actually happened. If you're going back to the crime scene or wherever, it's just like, whoa,
yeah.
this is an out of body experience for me. And it's personal because I know someone who has been through this,
Hmm.
or probably could have been a family member who've experienced the same thing. So it's just like, how do I tap into this character in this moment when this has happened to
Yep.
somebody that I love? So it's all of those things you have to take into consideration when doing a biography or based on a true story.
Exactly. Exactly. And a lot of people don't understand that when you're watching it, you it's easy for you to watch it and say, wow, it's hard to believe people can be that bad. And it's hard to believe a human being could be that bad. But imagine when you're playing it and you have to be that bad and you're thinking, this is real life. I'm thinking, damn, man, Derek Talib was a bad dude. I mean, there was nothing good about that man. And anybody that knows me knows, I don't put my hands on women. I don't. I actually, I'm more likely to walk away from you than to argue with you. Than to fight or argue. I'm more likely to just and walk away. As long as I can get away from you, I'm just gonna walk away. But this guy is he. It wasn't about weapons or anything like that. I mean, this guy stabbed a 20-some-year-old girl 81 times with a flathead screwdriver. A flathead screwdriver, not even a pointed, a flathead screwdriver. Do you know how I had to wake up that next day and think about how many times? I mean, even though we had a dummy, but I mean, I had to just sit there and boom, 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 and yeah, that was. But yeah, and so you think about that, and then, like I said, this young lady, Atara, and her story's a little more tamer, but and like I said, people have asked me, am I gonna if I do the sex trap, am I gonna play one of the characters? No. I don't want to piss on nobody. I don't want to be the guy who does. I mean, not in that way. I don't want to be. I'm not. I'm not gonna say I'm not a kink, but I'm not gonna do it that way. I'm not gonna be beating somebody and doing it. That's uncool. So shh, it's not. We can take that part out, right? We can take
Yes,
that part.
yes,
No, you can't. It's lie. Don't lie to me. We lie. Don't lie to me. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, people don't think about the actor's version and how you got to wake up that morning and get in that character, and even worse off, how you got to go to sleep that night after what you've done, and you've gotten so deep, but people don't think about that. So I know a lot of you guys give actors hard times and, oh, the movie sucked because of this actor. First of all, always remember it's not the actor, it's literally the editor. The editor picks the scenes that you see. The editor puts stuff together, the editor and the director. So don't give the actor such a hard time because you have no clue what they went through the night before and the night of playing those roles.
Yeah.
That guy that played Jeffrey Dahmer, I mean, for what I heard, he had to take a lot of time off. You know, he took a lot of time. Matter of fact, if you think about it, since he played Jeffrey Dahmer, you haven't seen him. Now you saw him every season on what's that show? Uh he was on every season of that one show with the witches and all that kind of stuff. But once he did the Jeffrey Dahmer thing, I don't think I've seen him on anything. So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway.
And we have another question for you from Headshot. She wants to know, what is the best advice you can give to up and coming actresses and actors?
Listen,
Mm,
listen. I get so I'm gonna be honest with you. I am so tired of helping people or giving people advice and they don't listen. If you don't want to hear my advice, don't ask. No, I tell people when I started driving back and forth from St. Louis to Chicago regularly, I ended up having to get a new car because I was putting so many miles on it. I had to sleep in my car sometimes. That's the kind of shit it takes. I don't know how many times I drove back and forth to Atlanta from St. Louis. That's 8 to 9 hours, you know. But people don't want to listen. They just, they think it's going to come to them. They think it's just going to happen. Oh, I'm a good actor, or I'm a good looking woman. No, even like now, I'm telling people, start getting your footage together for your demo reels, or start getting, headshots and pictures taken, and they don't want to do it. They don't want to listen. The wheel don't. You can't reinvent this wheel. You cannot. Like you said, you're gonna have a casting director on here on here right after me, and she's gonna tell you, don't call her, don't cold call her, don't bother that woman like that. Respect the fact that she is busy, but you got to give her a reason to want to come to you.
yes.
Give her, like I said, if you're casting something around here and you need a big black guy, hey, Bishop Steve, look him up. Here's his stuff, blah, 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 blah. But I would never just, you don't cold call these people. You ain't got no representation. You ain't got no demo reel. You ain't got no headshots. You ain't done nothing you're supposed to do. You're doing small independent films that I tell people don't even want to look nobody up. If somebody calls you about a show and you don't have the sense, the God-given sense to Google them and look them up, are their films coming out? Or do they film and they sit on a shelf somewhere? Is there anything that you can see of their work? Who have they worked with? I check all that stuff, or my manager checks all that stuff before I will even talk to anybody. I mean, even you, if you look on my Facebook page, we posted like the little screenshots of all of your people you've interviewed and all that.
Yeah.
Even even before I do interviews, I want to know who am I talking to, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, it's people just don't want to listen. So I tell people my advice is to listen. If you're gonna ask somebody for some help, listen, do what they say, so that when you go back to them, they're willing to help you again. So I'm not gonna put my neck out there for you, and you can't listen to me from the get go. You're doing crazy stuff that I didn't tell you to do. You know, you're going out to California, LA, hoping somebody's gonna let you stay on their couch. Of course you do that.
Mm.
What would you do that for? I know 4 people who going out to LA just threw their whole lives away. And out of those 4, only 2 have made it. So out of the so again, yeah, it's crazy to me. I'll go to LA when they keep calling me, I go. You call me, I go. I'm not gonna go out there and try to compete. Them people, they have clicks, or Atlanta has their clicks. LA has their clicks. Don't go until you're part of the clique. that's when you go. No, that's it.
Absolutely. And we have another question for you from Headshot. She wants to know, have you ever played in a film that has affected you mentally?
Yeah, the Baton Rouge serial killer. Yeah, the Baton Rouge, like I said, the Baton Rouge serial killer. I couldn't sleep for, like I said, more than a week. Uh, I had a very hard time on set. Like I said, we had weird things happen. There's a guy who was one of the producers, BJ Mazik. He's a friend of mine. I flipped out. I'll tell you. I'll tell you real quick. I'll just make it real. I don't know how much time. I'll make it real quick. We were doing the scene, and again, I'm not giving away anything because you can look up the Baton Rouge serial killer Derek Todd Lee, and you'll find we're not giving away nothing that people don't know because this is true. Okay, but there's a scene where I kill a young, where I take a young lady who's taking a bath. She's in the bathtub, and I take. She's drinking wine. She's trying to relax after a hard day. I'm in her house. I take the bottle. So she's drinking wine. She has her eyes. She has the headphones on. I take the bottle. I take her wine bottle. When she finally notices I'm there, I take the wine bottle and I smash her across the. Now for those, it's a sugar, but it's a fake. It's a movie prop bottle. But as God is our witness, as I swung that bottle, this was not Jenna the actress. It was somebody else looking up at me and said, "Please don't do this to me again. Don't do it. Please don't do this to me again." And I flipped the fuck out. Now, not only did it happen, and I just started sweating and I was crying. And BJ grabbed me and he took me outside so I could, because man, I was sweating so bad. He thought I was gonna fall out, pass out, and all this was just. Now, what was weird is Jenna says that she looked up and that wasn't me. Now we have known each other for 5, 6 years. So she looked up at me and she said she didn't see me, she saw someone else. And if that's not crazy enough, the guy, the DP, the cameraman, something hit him while he was filming too.
Wow.
So all three of us had some type of outer weird experience. And at that, and like I said, they took me outside because it was fall, so it was kind of cool out. And I was outside for about a good half hour. I came back in and I was still sweating. Like I said, that after we finished filming, and like I said, I could not sleep for over a week, and it was so bad that when we went back in the spring to film the second half of the film, I really cut down on my trying to get in the character. This is what I'm saying about the directing and stuff like that. At the same time, I really pulled back on trying to be so into character. I pulled back a lot. I pulled back. If you watch the movie, you'll probably be able to see where I'm Derek Todd Lee and compared to where I'm Bishop Stevens playing Derek Todd Lee. You'll probably be able to notice that because I pulled back a lot because I was like, shit, I don't want to do that no more.
It's deep. And it's
It
like you
was,
said, you're having an out of body experience. And I remember Lupita, when she did the film Us, she said she literally had to detox this character
yep,
out of her
yep,
system because
yep,
it was so toxic. And Us was a horror film. That was Jordan Peele.
yep,
So
yep,
with her doing this film, she literally had to detox this character out. And even when you're going home after set, after filming has wrapped, you're going home, you sometimes take that character with you. And that's method actors. But you have to
yep.
be able to separate the two. I'm no longer the character. I am myself now.
Well, I think some of us, like my problem with it is, I think my problem comes from my wrestling background because when I was a wrestler, wrestlers are method actors. Most of, you're playing a heel. You're back. Like people ask me about my traveling. I've traveled all over the world. I've been to I don't know how many different countries I did. But at the time, I was out. I was a bad guy. I was a heel. So when I got off that plane, I still had to be a heel. Kids would come up, want to take your pig, get away from me, kid. Not right now. Go away, blah, 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 blah. Stay in your hotel, have dinner and everything in your hotel because you're a bad. I've been to a lot of countries. I've flown right over everything. If you ask me what have I seen, I can't say I've seen shit. I can say I've been there, but I ain't seen shit, because I was a bad guy. So you had to get in that character and stay in that character. And you've heard about wrestlers and stuff like that. People see, they get into fights, they don't want to talk to nobody, all this type of stuff, because they're playing a character. A lot of people don't understand that, so and you don't want to lose that character. And then people be talking about, oh, he's really a nice guy. He's nothing like that. They're good guys, Back in my day with Harley, if Harley caught us riding together, me and the guy that I'm supposed to be fighting, if we were riding together, oh boy, you were in for it. Harley would rather you sit your ass there and wait for a taxi and take a taxi all the way to Nashville than to ride with the person you're supposed to be feuding and hating. He didn't play that. And so and I guess that just kind of stays with me. That if I'm, like I said, I've been working on my Haynes character now for several months while I'm doing other things, you know, because I really want that character to come off really well. So yeah, so you can say
I
that.
see you, Sandy. Alessi Hagen Caston will be joining me in a few minutes. It is 3:55. It is almost wrap time, Fashion Dolls. So it is Women's History Month, and I would be remiss, for myself as a woman and other women as well, too. Bishop, you have to give 5 things that make us women awesome.
Women, awesome. I you only want me to give you 5? I can probably give you 100. Let me see. You're
Okay.
beautiful. You're beautiful. You're supportive. Now I'm talking about good. I'm talking about good women. Okay, I am talking about good women. You're supportive. A lot of women these days don't seem to understand. There's nothing a man. Now, do I consider myself a high value guy? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm over 6 foot tall. I make X amount of dollars. House car. I don't know how all that works out. So, but I do know that nothing brings me more peace than to have somebody that I can talk to, that I can vent to. Oh my God, like we a lot of y'all don't know. This was therapy for me. This right here, this was therapy for me. You know, because I don't get to vent like this often. You know, um, so yeah, a woman that you can talk to, that listens to you, and it can support and pat you on your back and on your head and say, it'll be okay, baby, don't worry about it, we got this, it's all right. You know, women, I love how I do love the women who, boy, I will say, you so-called passenger princesses, I'm a king. My daughter's a princess. I want that queen. That queen that when I can't drive, pull over, baby. I got you. I got it. Pull over. No. Pull over before you fall asleep. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Women like that. Where they, yeah, that, like I said, those are, the kind that remind you who your mama was. You know what I'm saying? The kind of reminds you what kind of woman your mama was. You know what I'm saying? Um, Another thing is right now is women these days are smart, educated. Now, I know you hear a lot of people saying men don't care about, no, I don't care how much money you make. I really don't. I really don't care how high of an education you got. But you know what I do care about? I do care about that I can talk to you and you can give me advice. That's where that education comes in. Yes, be able to talk to a woman that can give you advice on how you need to handle your shit. Oh yeah, love that. I love that. And like I said, I don't really care how much money you make, but it's nice to know that, you know what, if I get stuck, you got me, because you damn sure know that if you get stuck, I got you. I'm gonna take care of you. I don't. People talk about these. Yeah, I put a lot of movies in the money in the movies that I've done. But you think if I can put that much money in a movie, you think I wouldn't put it on my girl? Especially if I know she would do the same for me. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So like I said, are those 5? I can keep going. I can keep going. I can keep going if you want, because there are some really good things about women these days. And I know the whole internet and social media has done a lot. And I appreciate, really, it's really nice that you're doing that you do this segment. because I think social media has really killed what real women, the thing about real women. And those of us men, I'm not real big on social media or whatever else, but so I really don't care. But I do get tired of hearing how all men are bad and we're all this and we're all that. Well, hun, the men you're talking about, you picked. They're good men out there, just like there are great women out there. There are strong women out there. There are women who want a leader. But then you know what? They right there. And I'm not pointing behind me, I'm pointing next to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a woman to be behind me. I want her to be next to me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, those are the good things about women. Those are my five. Is that five? Is that
There you
five?
have it, ladies. Yes, and the ladies in the audience are agreeing. They are agreeing. And I think we needed to hear this in these times where, like you said, in social media, so much going
Yeah.
on. We're looking at it, we're witnessing it. We need to be uplifted. And
Yeah,
in this time, I think it's more important that we continue to uplift women 100%.
definitely.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Definitely.
it is time for the next show, Fashion Dolls. I didn't want to rap. I didn't want to rap, but we got to bring Bishop back, and we're going to get Mick to set something up again. It was such a
We will.
pleasure chatting with you. And before we let you go, where can everyone follow you and check you out?
Like I said, I'm not a really, really, really big social media person, but I do have Instagram and Facebook. Both of them are Bishops with an S 411. So Bishop info, So Bishops with an S
No, not
411
yet.
at Instagram and on Facebook. That's it.
All right, Fashion
All
Dolls.
right.
So what I'm gonna do is start a new live. I see you, Sandy. I'm gonna start a new live and come
Hey,
back.
Sandy.
This one is gonna be up, and you guys are getting two shows. So this one will be up. You guys can go back and check out this one with Bishop. It's gonna be uploaded to Style by Stevie Daytime, as well as the other one with Sandy as well too. So I'm gonna start a new live and come back. Go refresh your drinks, get your refreshments, and we will be back. All right, Fashion Dolls.
Bye bye.
Take
Thank you. Bye.
you're welcome.